Cool. What's good, people? Welcome to another edition of Quality Over Quarantine. One of these days I'm going to get the name of this show right in it, but that's not today. So today we got quite an interesting guest, because this is a guest here that I know like really well to say like hi to, but I don't know really well as like we never really sat and had like conversations and stuff. So this is one of them I've been really looking forward to. A lot of the guests I've spoke to before, and it's like I'm just giving you conversation that we have offline anyway, whereas this is going to be something a little bit different. I've already had people hitting me up, which is funny because I don't normally get this, but I've had people hitting me up going, yo, who's Jaz? Wait, I've seen her face before. I'm like, listen. So bait face. So let's just go straight into it, man. Introduce the one and only Jaz Kahina. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah.
The kids have gone to their dads for a couple of days. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be doing this, to be honest.
See, it's mad. We're gonna get into that. Because we had a little Twitter beef in it, so we're gonna speak on that later.
I've actually forgotten. Oh no, that. Yeah, of course. Yeah, how can I forget these things? It
because
just happens.
That's the thing, it's Twitter, innit? So you don't really remember. Like people do this to me. Like, do you remember this time we were talking about this? I'm like, when were we talking about this? On Twitter, mate. Come on, man. It was in the timeline. Yeah. It had and it was gone. But yeah, man. How have you been in this whole COVID-19 lockdown shutdown? I have to say, you were one of the most vocal on my timeline with talking about we should have locked down sooner, and you would have yeah, man, and you were one of the ones that are really out there like, yo, you lot stay in your fucking yard. So how you been finding it?
Yeah, okay. Like at first I felt like there was a constant kind of like background sense of anxiety and doom, and I guess that gave way because you can only, like, the news has only got so much more news every day in it, and because I think a lot of the stuff Italy went through, it's kind of obvious it's the same thing happening here. So I think once I stopped reading the news all the time, not that it was the news' fault really, but I mean once I stopped obsessing over like everything being so awful, I feel like I just kind of disconnected a bit. So like my house has just become a bubble. Yeah. And I guess it comes in waves, like just good days and bad days, really.
I think a lot of people have said that that it's kind of, they're kind of in their own bubble. I was speaking to someone else earlier, and she was saying, she was just like, I don't watch the news. I don't know what's going on. I just get on my work. I'm just staying in my yard and just doing my thing. When I look outside and see everyone else is outside, then I'll be like, all right, cool, it's over. But until then, I'm not looking at no news. I don't want to know what's happening. All I'm doing is keeping myself safe. But do you feel like that's kind of like a way to deal with it, or a good way to deal with it, at least for me?
I think for me, I like to stay connected. Like I like to be informed. That's where I'm a fairly controlling kind of person. Like I like to be in control of things. So if you're informed, that's the most control you can have. And sometimes when you're that way inclined, it can go to the extreme of like it not being good, that you want too much information, which is, you don't need to know hourly death rates of different countries. It's not really necessary, but I do want to know like what I need to know, and then that's it. So that's all right for me as long as I know what I need to know. But I just feel like there's not that much more to know. Like just stay in your house. I mean, I know it's a pandemic, it's not going to go anywhere until there's a vaccine or something like that. So the number of cases will just go up if we come out of lockdown, obviously. But they need to keep the R number, the amount of people you infect per infected person can't go above 1 or something. So I know, like, knowing that stuff, I like to know a bit, but like, I'm not complete. I don't want to be total bubble. I feel like there's a danger in that too. In a way.
I'm on some Batman business, because I'll be like, so throughout the day, I don't really check it too tough. I just kind of just get on my work and stuff. But in nighttime, I go into the way I do when it comes to like just business anyway. I'm a chart reader, innit? So I'm looking at all the charts and seeing like what's happening everywhere. And I think at first that did kind of help, because then what it did, it allowed me to go, oh, okay, I see where this is going, and also allowed me to early go, yeah, China's numbers ain't right, and also it kind of gave me that, I don't know, a little sense of, oh, you know what's coming. And it's funny because the only time I actually had like any sort of, I had an oh shit moment was the second I realized that China's numbers weren't correct and Italy was coming over here, like we were parallel in Italy, and I had this moment. I was just like, oh, okay, I might need to stop making joke raps about this and actually take this a bit seriously. And then just patterned up and just thought, okay, cool, this is what we need to do to survive, and this is how we're gonna do it. And from then on, it's been fine. I think the one thing I've noticed is looking at the stats doesn't work too well because of how everybody correlates, how everyone gets information. Everyone gets the information differently, and I feel like the only country actually that actually has information that, if you look as a I don't know, if you're into charts and how things are, how information is gathered, Italy seem to be the only ones who kind of are like giving you the real. They're like, this is all the information we have, here it is. Whereas I feel like all the other countries are like, yeah, nah, like we do our thing where we're like, nah, the weekend, we don't give you nothing on the weekend. So on the weekend, you're like, oh, the death rate's gone down. And then Monday, they're like, nah, psych, double up. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird one.
And also only testing people in hospital, like the numbers seem a bit pointless. Like, yeah. But I agree with that, being informed in advance. I took my kids out of school before school closed.
Yeah, my wife
did I got the shopping in before everyone got the shopping in. Exactly. It's common sense. I don't need the government to tell me what I can see right in front of my face, which is another terrible ailment we have here, is not using our initiative or our own judgment. I think
common sense and critical thinking is definitely super low in our society. We're just not the best at seeing grey area and nuance and being able to think for ourselves. It's very much like it might not even be like, I think it's worldwide, or is it definitely what we say call the Western world is left and right. It seems that's where we're going with it.
Well, we do, our language and our psychology, like our culture, is quite binary apparently compared to other parts of the world. But also as a teacher, what I witness, I haven't been a teacher for a long time, but what I witness in school, sometimes you can see a window in where, like, I remember there was a big like whiteboard on wheels in front of the kids' trays, and they were told to get something out of their trays, and they all kind of were like looking around, like thing in the way. They could have moved it easily, and then the teacher's like, oh, move it or whatever. But they're scared because if they were to move it, the teacher could scream at them. Even though it's the obvious thing to do. I think, I don't know, in schools and institutions, obviously, and I can see the kids' lack of common sense because sometimes shouted for using it. And so they're kind of unteaching common sense, because if you use your common sense, it might not be what the teacher wanted. You're going to get screamed at. So you just kind of sit there like, and then you look like an idiot.
This is an interesting one because I had this conversation with, I didn't realize you're a teacher as well. So I had this conversation with Tony D talking about education reform, and that's something I'm quite passionate about. Just the way that we see our young children learning, and I feel like again, because of the work I do, I only really see it once they've kind of gone too far. So I work with gang members and people in and out of prison. But something I kind of get when I'm ever allowed to do early intervention work and I'm in schools, this idea where young people don't feel confident in themselves to give an answer or to just say, yo, this is how I feel, and unless they know how everyone else feels. So do you see that? Do you see that in class or in school?
Definitely, but I only teach primary, so I think that is a bit different. I mean, obviously they've got less confidence, well, maybe not less confident. They're less inhibited at some years. Obviously, the teenagers and the teenagers are very, very self-conscious. So my 11-year-old's going into that stage of thinking everyone's looking at her, eating outside, or like she can't step out of the house in messy hair, God forbid. Whereas obviously my 7-year-old's just like, she's like, oh, don't go out, it's like that. It's like different ages, but. Yeah, I think also we're a society that we like to tear each other down. So, I mean, that to have friends or classmates that are like, oh, that's really good. I don't feel like it's rare, but I feel like it's quite common if someone tries to do something or tries to step out, that everybody goes to tear them down. It's like, well, who do you think you are stepping out of the mold or trying to be better than anyone? And the instinct of insecurity is to bring them back down to how you feel.
It's funny, yeah, because I do a lot of studying of Japanese culture, and there's a kind of like a thinking or a thought in Japanese culture, and basically it's the one who steps out is the one who gets their head taken off, basically. So the whole like the way you should be in society is never stray to be too different from anybody else, and you see that in Japanese culture, just the way it is. You also see the young people kind of rebelling against that, which is why counterculture in Japan is always so like, it's just crazy to us. It's like, rah, you lot are going mad, because again, it's like you're coming from a situation or culture where it's like, you must be this, you have to be that. And I feel like they just deal with it differently, whereas over here we kind of still have it. I remember I was watching this documentary on North Korea, and it was this weird thing about, these are the hairstyles you're allowed to have. And I remember thinking like, that is crazy, like they're only allowed these hairstyles. Then I was like, but really and truly, we only have a few hairstyles as well. We don't say you're not allowed to have it.
Was it literal?
Yeah, they had the rule, they had the picture, these are the hairstyles you're allowed to have. You can't go out of these hairstyles. But at the same time, we kind of have that, but without, it's not enforced. It's just a case of, you see somebody with blue spiky hair, you'll be like, you can't come into school with that, you can't come into work with that. But at the same time, we see them as being like super weird and super held down, but we're very much the same in a lot of ways. It's just unspoken, or it's just dealt with in a different way.
Yeah, and also I think that some of those kind of zany subculture looks have been swallowed by capitalism. So I don't know if you even can do it anymore. It's like it's almost become mainstream to look, but more as a try-on outfit than a real lifestyle.
Yeah.
So like, they're not actual punks.
Yeah, there's a few.
Where they got blue spiky hair.
Yeah, I get you.
Maybe online's different from actually walking down the street, because you see a lot more of that online than you would walking down the street. So I guess there's more bravery online and also less pressure.
So you know what? Let's rewind, yeah, because we're kind of getting into a few things. But how did you talk to me about how you grew up, man? Let's go all the way back to little Jazz, to baby Jazz. Like, how did you get into whereabouts did you grow up? How did you get into the hip hop culture? What was your initial entry into it? Go, yeah.
All right. So my main growing up place was Hackney, but I didn't go to school in Hackney. So I guess it's more of a kind of like the local, like my experience with the local children and the youth club I used to go to. And that's like my backdrop. But because I went to school in Kentish Town,
right,
that's like another place that feels like my end. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we've also lived in a few different places in London. But so yeah, I grew up there, and I was a kind of oddball child. So I was quite unpopular. We didn't have a lot of money. We lived in a terraced house though, so we were quite rich. I live next to Kingsmead Estate, which you probably don't know, in Homerton.
Yeah.
But it was quite different than it is now in Hackney anyway. So I was probably considered to be posh just for living in a terraced house. But we didn't have like money for like clothes or anything, and I think I used to get all my clothes from charity shops and jumble sales. I think that's where my mum used to get our clothes. So I used to kind of because I couldn't be fashionable, I'd go the other way and be like, oh yeah, well I wanted to look crazy,
right,
and like wear mad combos to like kind of make it a flex. And so I wasn't a very popular kid, but I used to enjoy the aggro.
Right.
So I'd almost purposely wear loud things to irritate people, because like we were saying about conformity, it used to really irritate people. Like, why are you wearing that?
Yeah.
Like, why are you doing it? Like, it really aggravates people to see. So I've always been quite a kind of challenging person, or enjoyed friction or arguments, or like but that's always come hand in hand with justice as well. I think that I just thought, why can't I wear this? Why shouldn't I just do what I want? So I don't even know where to go. The question's so big.
No, do you know what? Okay, so let's break into that a little bit. Yeah. So you're talking about this idea of justice, yeah, or feeling like something's not quite right. When did you realize, or when did that become a realization that, okay, some things aren't right and I need to speak up, or speak against it?
That's a very good question. I guess first it's what you experience, like unfairness. You used to like, if something was unfair when I was little at home. I've got very strong emotions. I've always had very strong emotions, so I'd be furious at the injustice.
Right.
So then I would apply it to outside things. I can't really remember. I think people being bullied.
Okay.
Think other people being bullied.
Yeah.
In film and TV, I would get quite, it would affect me quite a lot to see injustices happen on TV.
Yeah.
But funnily enough, actually, one of the ways I got into hip hop was the Beastie Boys.
Okay.
So, like, to go back to part of the question, when I was like 10 or something like that, so my sister's 5 years older, so her mates used to make her mixtape, and there'd be like Cypress Hill on it, Beastie Boys, Nirvana, Red Hot Chili Peppers, just like really random whatever, you know, to do. So I heard that was probably the first hip hop I got really, really into, was the Beastie Boys.
Okay. How old were you then?
Like 11.
Okay.
Well, I mean, before that, like radio stuff probably.
Yeah.
But I basically became vegetarian because of them.
Okay.
And I got obsessed with MCA's Tibetan campaigning. I used to fly a McDonald's in Camden to get people to go veggie. Meated murder flyering. I was like 12.
So you're like some like real life Lisa Simpson.
I am so Lisa Simpson. I used to skateboard. I'm Lisa Bart. I used to skate. So like I got really, I guess I got quite into the lyrics,
right,
and the messages, because I also used to buy like I used to borrow tapes from the library, like this old Mastercuts tape that had like Public Enemy on it and Black Sheep on it, and like just like electro and stuff. So I got really into that kind of old stuff too, and obviously there's a lot of messages in that, especially Public Enemy. Yeah. And I used to write, that used to really appeal to me.
Okay.
The kind of I watched your interview with Logic actually, but you know, somebody that says something with such conviction, and you're like somebody that's a leader, and they're like, this isn't right, this, that, and the other, and you're just like, yeah, you're right. Yeah. So that really appealed to me about hip hop, because I think it's obviously the most intellectual genre of music, I would say. Yeah. And I've always been a like avid book reader, so I've always been quite an intellectual child even, so it appealed to me on that level, and just the energy of it, like it was so exciting, it just sounded so exciting.
So I'm guessing around that time you started kind of writing your own lyrics, or when did you start?
Maybe a couple years later.
Yeah. Okay.
Terrible lyrics. Yeah, maybe a couple years later. I mean, I used to rap the lyrics I liked. I don't remember feeling like I had to write my own at that point.
Right.
I was too busy being consumed.
Okay,
by this world. Yeah.
That's cool. So, I know you from when I first like was aware of you, was you got the fly behind you, Kung Fu days. Yeah, like that was the mecca, the mecca of.
It was the mecca. Yeah. It was the monthly pilgrimage.
And it was man. Till you got that guest list and was like, woo, felt crazy, and it was so the first time when Kung Fu first started, when it was at WKD, I think I might have only went to one at WKD.
Same. I went to the one Manage performed at.
Okay. I can't remember who performed the one that I went to. But I remember kind of because my brother come back. My brother had been like the month before. He told me he was at this club night, And I'm like, he's like, yeah, man, I met Skinny Man, Chester P. He's naming all these people. I'm like, what? Like, what, just there? It's like, yeah, man, what, performing? Nah, they were just jamming in it. Some of them went up on an open mic. I'm just like, no way, this type of place does not exist. So then I must have hollered at, I must have gone, I think I went a few times myself with my brother. And then when I hooked up with DJ Answer, we started going, we weren't missing it. That was our thing, innit? And
the Averex twins.
Yeah, man. But we weren't the only ones really rocking the AVs because you were there.
No.
So
yeah, I mean, back in the day, I could only wear a half leather. I mean, now
wait, that was
now they're an evil and not a grand.
The half leather was still like these weren't cheap, man. And you know what's funny as well, yeah, because back in the day when we used to go Oxford Street to get ours and Phil F Cypher, yeah, they used to come through. You know what's really funny? Kind of going off, but the guy who owned the store, I met his daughter years later and became really good friends with her anyway, but I didn't even know her at the time. But so we used to go in and see which ones were new and whatever. And if you got there late, Philly or Life would have got it. It was gone. You see, you get there and they'd be like, yeah, got the new one coming through, and you get this, and all you see is a picture of them up on the wall, like, yeah, you're like, damn, man. But
are you talking about Dark and Cold?
Nah, not Dark and Cold.
No,
it was called Modo, I think. It was actually on Oxford Street, yeah.
It was Tottenham Court Road then.
Yeah. So Turkish Dun. He ran it. Yeah, them man are gangsters, innit? So like they were running the thing. But so we used to see you and be like, that's Averex girl. Like you be at because it wasn't just Kung Fu. Like any place where UK hip hop was playing, we would go. And the only other person we'd always see was you. And we know, if we see you, we know, alright, cool, it's going to be live. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? So before you even knew who you were, like, you already had a face, a name in the scene. So where did that, like, how was that your thing? You were at every rave. Where did that come from? When do you decide?
That was my life. I probably started going out when I was like 14, but not to UK hip hop things, to like some awful clubs in like flipping Leicester Square or something. And then I used to go to some metal nights. So there was the Dome in Tufnell Park. Okay. And I discovered that I really like mosh pits, which is essentially a fight in which you agree that you're going to hurt each other and you're still cool. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah. But how did I get into going to UK hip hop things? Like, I met Skinny when I was 12.
Seen.
So I've known him for time because I used to wear like graffiti tops and skateboard and I used to tag. So I would meet people just from, they'll be like, because obviously it wasn't that common to be into hip hop, let alone being a 12-year-old girl. And I met Mudfam on Camden Road platform. Right. So there was a group of people anyway. And Skinny was like, are you into hip hop? Or he must have saw me tag or something. Right. And he's like, oh, buy our EP or something, like, I don't know, I can't remember what he said. But so I had these names in my head already. Yeah. I was like, oh, I wonder who that is or whatever. And I wonder how I got to go to the first. I used to listen to Kiss 100 when I was quite young, the rap show. Yep. And obviously Black Twang would be on it. Yeah. Joker Star would be on it. Yeah. You would be on it. So maybe I used to listen to that before I'd go to the night, and then I'd see flyers. So I can't remember, but once I started going, that was my life. Like, I've always worked full time, so I worked hard and I played hard, but it would always be like, that's what I had to look forward to, the next hip hop night, that chance to get on the mic.
Yeah.
Or,
that's like, another thing as well, because
physical things, everything.
There was, I think, there wasn't a lot of other females that were kind of in the scene like that, because obviously we would bring our girls and whatever, but like they'd be coming with us, and I mean, they weren't jumping on the open mic, they were just kind of seeing who was there and having fun.
There were women there,
but there was only a few. There was probably, I'd say like 5 to 10 hardcore girls that they're gonna be like, and like, it's funny you mentioned mosh pitting, because you were the only one who, when it was mosh time, you was right up in the front going mad. So yeah, it was definitely stood out. And as well, like the open mics, I don't think I hate having to say you had to be there, but I don't think people understand how important those open mics were at the time. Yeah. So this is like the open mic for me, literally kind of like really changed my career, because I remember one time, again, Maestro used to host it, and I'd be at the front like, yo, calm Maestro, yo man, give me the mic, and he must have given me the mic one time, and it was Black Twang performing. It was Black Twang was on the flyer, and I rapped in front of Black Twang, and after I finished my verse, kind of gave him the look like, yeah, what do you think? And I think I did some mad arrogant thing as well. I think I went up to Black Twang before and was like, yo, check that. And you know what's funny? If someone did that to me now, I'd be like, you're a dickhead. But I went up to Black Twang and was like, yo, I'm about to bust the open mic, watch. And he's like, all right, cool, go on. And I went on, I did my thing.
Oh my God.
And it kicked off. It was a good verse, whatever. Yeah. And he was like, yeah, that's cold, man. That's cold. And we kind of got chatting a little bit, just yeah. And then like the month after or the week after, you remember Mass as well, yeah, Deck Effects.
Yeah,
right.
That was
like so I was there and I was performing there. So I'm upstairs, in the upstairs in the back place with the backstage or whatever. And it's bare people in there, bare MCs, other MCs, other rappers, yeah. And Black Twang's walked in, everyone's gone silent, and the Black Twang's looked over. Yeah, jealous is what you say, and I was like, oh my God, he remembers me, like.
Yes. Yeah.
Open mic could definitely change it.
Day, people don't realise that these people were celebrities to us.
100%.
Like, you can go online and start chatting in the comment section. No, if you made eye contact, it was a note to be made. Like, looked at me, he spotted me. Like, now you can just like message whoever, whatever, but you couldn't. They weren't necessarily touchable. Yeah. You would hope they're at the event or like it was different. They were like local celebrities.
100%, like 100%. And even it's funny, even like the times I used to hang out with Kalashnikov, it was never like, yeah, it's my boy. It was like, oh my God, I'm with Kalashnikov. Like, and it's still like that now. He calls me, I'm just like, oh, like,
yeah.
And
I
feel
can't
like
fully shake it.
Nah, never, because I think that era is just a different. To me, it's a different era. Those guys who came up at that time, to me, they represent something so different. To me, it is a golden age and a golden era.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go on, yeah.
Nobody's making a murder now. Nobody's making a murder. It's impossible. You can't do it if you wanted to.
Do you know what?
Come on.
So you remember yesterday, I didn't have a guest and I was trying to get you on early, yeah? And the other guy I was trying to get was Gatsby.
Yeah.
So Gatsby had a song out, Come to East, and that song,
banger.
So I was like trying to get him. So I was like, yo, I want you to come on, because I feel like there was a time where songs just hit in a different way, because everyone was watching like Channel U, and the era was just different. I remember my first video on Channel U, they messed up the upload, so it didn't play the whole video. It only played like the first like 5 or 10 seconds, yeah. So you'd order it, and 10 seconds of it would play, and then it would stop. It was mad, yeah. Big up Carly Cussin, she fixed it. But just at 10 seconds, I went out the next day and it was like, oh my God, I saw you on Channel U. Oh, what happened to your video? Like, just off that, they didn't even hear the song. They heard the intro. It was like, oh, you're famous. Had these school kids running up on me. So the era was different. My question is, you weren't making music at the time, like for the public then, were you?
No, not really. Like, the first stuff I recorded, I was probably about 19 now.
Okay.
Okay, you need context for that. So 2003-ish.
I'm not good at maths. Someone who's good at maths, figure that out. But
yeah, exactly. 2020. It's not that hard as it 17 years ago. But I went on I had some MySpace tracks.
Okay.
But no music videos. The first music video I put out was probably 2011. So quite a lot later. I had kids when I was like 23, which was quite young in retrospect. It's really young. Like, I didn't really think of it as that young at the time. I suppose it is. So I kind of dropped out of the whole everything because of that. Your whole life can't be going out clubbing when you're a mum. Yeah. I got married as well, everything. But then it was my husband who encouraged me to start rapping again.
Right.
So that my first single, that was really his. I guess he was almost like my manager.
Yeah.
That got me back into it. So during my time out, I missed I guess I missed the kind of ending of that era, maybe, and the beginning of a different one. I missed all that. Like, I missed the come up of like High Focus, for example, and a lot of like grime. Grime was fairly new when I come out as well, so I was on top of the whole grime thing, 2007, 2008 kind of. But like after I had kids again, I dropped out, so I've got these big gaps in my kind of involvement.
How did you find so having that break, kind of jumping back into the scene and starting to become an artist, like you're an artist now? How did you find that transition, and did you find it easy to jump back in and to just find your vibe, find your place?
Well, funny enough, it was two jump back in. So that first one in 2011, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
So the video I got done, it looked pretty professional for the time. It was called Gone. I was recording with Scribbler as well from Terra Firma.
Okay.
Scribbler went to school with my kid's dad.
See.
So he was like, "Oh, my wife raps," and Scribbler's like, "Oh, your wife raps, all right then, come on then." And then he was like, "Yo, you'll see." Terra Firma. Massive Terra Firma fans over here. Like, they were like one of my best groups, innit?
100%.
Yeah, so kind of worked with him a bit. He recorded me, and I got a bit of a buzz. Like, those videos now, they probably got like 15k views, etc. Back then, I feel like in 2011 it was a bit easier to get a buzz, maybe. Like,
yeah, there was less noise.
Yeah. So then I fell off again, second child, and come back again with 284, that kind of grimy 140, which was maybe 3 years ago. So that was my second time, and that wasn't so easy. So I was like, oh yeah, I just need to make a good video, and like that, you know, I'll get loads of attention. But it's a bit harder than that because the market is saturated and people are better.
Yeah.
And there's so many good people.
Yeah.
And it's not, I guess, maybe I took for granted as well that sometimes it's just like, oh, look, she can rap. And then it's just like a buzz instantly. But it's not like that anymore, which is obviously a good thing. But I think I've noticed you really have to be flipping consistent.
Yep.
And I'm not that good at that.
See,
but
I had this conversation earlier before with Carl Hines. I was talking to him on the phone earlier today, and we're talking about you coming on the show, and we're talking about female artists. And I was saying the exact same thing. I was like, you would think that because, again, just as the way the game works, and because there's less females doing it, you would think that it would be easier to come in and do your thing. But there's way more barriers to being a female artist than to being a male artist. Being a male artist is the equivalent of you step at your house in tracksuit and you're good in it. You don't have to worry about nothing. With a female artist, there's way more scrutiny. We're gonna get into this. We're gonna get into the feminism side of things. But there's way more scrutiny. There's way more barrier. There's a much higher barrier to entry, and it's real easy to say, if the females are more consistent, they'd be good. But it's a lot harder to be consistent because, again, you're just dealing with way more. Speak on that. Is that something you? It's
like a sword with a million edges. This, I was going to say double-edged sword, way more edges than that.
Yeah.
So, first of all, even what I've just mentioned, childcare. Women are more likely to be doing the domestic jobs, to be looking after the children, like any other workplace. They're more likely to drop in and out and have to start again. Secondly, I know quite a few female artists that have been bullied out. So at the same time they're being lifted up or told to do whatever, there's people bullying them. Like, I think Lioness, for example, spoke on being bullied as a dark-skinned black woman. She was bullied out of the music industry, essentially. She's come back, which is great. But like you said, opening line to my last single, how am I invisible but highly scrutinized? The contradiction of everybody seeing you pretty soon, but either ignoring you because they don't want to rate a woman, or thinking, is she actually good though? But like, you wouldn't have to think of a man like that because he's the default rapper.
True.
The other thing I think is that women can get pushed into a middle section in which they're trapped. So there can be mediocre women that get pushed higher than they should because they're women. and they've played on some way of that.
Yeah.
And there can be thick women that aren't allowed to go any higher because they don't fit the bill of what they want the higher women to look like.
Right.
So look who are the most successful female artists in the UK and the US.
Yeah.
There's a running theme.
Yeah. So you're talking about like the Meg Thee Stallions. You're talking about
exactly.
What's her name? Nicki Minaj.
Yeah. Steph London.
Yeah.
So I think there's an issue with being able to see women as gods.
Right.
So like men will worship other men, but I don't think men are going to worship other women. They're not like one of the only female rappers I think who's managed to almost be immortal in that way is Missy Elliott.
Okay.
I feel like she kind of has this superhuman ability that loads of male rappers have to their fans. So I think the issue is that men are just not that, like, it's not they're not willing, it's psychological.
Right.
It's psychological that they can't worship a woman because because of the way the world is.
Yeah.
So it's not a question of them consciously being like, no, I don't want her to win. It's just they can't stand her. They can't be like, raw. I see people overreact so much to men's lyrics, you know?
Yeah.
Oh my days, he's a fucking goat. And I'm like, I don't think that lyric's that sick, you know. I think it's it come out of his mouth that you think that.
Yeah.
And I think on the flip side, women can say sick things, and you haven't bothered to try and find the double meanings in the wordplay because you don't expect it to be there. So there's like so many different layers of why we're not on top. It's not as simple as misogyny or outright or sexual assault or being bullied. It's not that simple. It's so many different psychological and societal factors that come into play. It's so complicated but fascinating. Yeah.
So is there, okay, so that's like that's the playing field you've explained. This is the playing field, yeah? So, and I'm not going to talk about outliers because obviously you're always going to have those ones who kind of do it. And like the one who always comes to my mind is Little Simps, yeah? And it's funny, like as you're saying that, I'm thinking to myself, because obviously I'm always trying to combat in my head what you're saying, right? So you're saying, women can't be, and I'm like, nah, there must be someone I look to who I'm like, oh my God, they're crazy. And to me, Little Simps is an extraordinary talent and is incredible as an artist. But at the same time, what you're saying is correct, because I wouldn't look at her like the same way I look at someone like Wretch. Actually, and you know what as well? Like, even when I talk about my top 10 lyricists all the time, yeah, I'm always quick to throw like Wretch's name in it. And I always throw her in, but it's always like an afterthought. It's never a time when I'll be like, nah, she should be one. But I feel like if we sat down track for track, bar for bar, I can't think of any, like, there's not many artists that can touch her, innit? So
yeah, the quality of her music as well.
Yeah,
there's no shit tracks on her album.
None.
You're not gonna get that. But I honestly, I know it's an irritating thing to say to some people, but I honestly think she should be bigger. I know she's big. I know she's massive.
Yeah.
Why isn't she bigger?
She definitely should be bigger, 100%. And it's funny as well because like then you look at Rhapsody. Yeah. I think she should be bigger. And it's funny as well because there's certain times when I've heard her. Do you know what? Actually, this is the funniest thing. The first time I heard her, or not the first time I heard her, but one of the times I heard her, I didn't realize it was her. I thought it was a man, innit? Like, because she got quite a boyish voice. And I remember going, raw, like, who is that? Oh my days, this guy, like, how have people been sleeping on this? I'm like, oh my God, it's Rhapsody. Oh, okay. Like, oh, all right, cool. Is what it is. Another one is who I always bring up, but a lot of people don't rate in the same way. But Young M.A. Like, to me, she's got some of my favorite songs ever. Like Petty Wap is what I play that all the time. Like all the time. I love it. I haven't
listened to her that much, you know.
She's
but
again, she's
sounds good.
Yeah, but she's different. She's like to me on that level of you're talking about the ones you talk about just the girls, the money, the cars, the jewels, the gangs, all that kind of stuff. The guys who do that with that swag, she does it better than almost any of them. And it's just like it's so effortless. But again, it's like how do you're so right, because how does a man stand at the front of the stage screaming. Like, oh my God. But we don't feel that way to do that to other guys, innit?
Yeah.
Like,
this is the other thing. So there's so many things, but like, this is the other thing, yeah, is that Megan Thee Stallion, I think she's sick. This is the thing. I don't just listen to women who are dope because they're women who are dope.
Yeah.
So Rhapsody, I think she's sick, but I don't often feel like listening to her. I just don't really want to. Yeah. Like, it's not that she isn't dope. And I wouldn't just listen to a woman to listen to a woman. But Megan Thee Stallion, there's something about her that proper appealed to me. As soon as I heard her, she's funny. She's got flows. Her beat selection's sick. There's this kind of, she's young, yeah, but I don't know how she weaves this nostalgic element into bare of her sounds and her music that doesn't sound forced. Okay. But anyway, but what irritates me is that I knew the moment she started getting big, I was like, she just gets like, it's going to get pushed into pop. Yeah. And like suddenly she's Cardi, Nicki and her are like these three figures everywhere. Yeah. And it's just like, what? And then all their fans are, like most of their fans are women, but I don't think most of their fans are hip hop fans.
Nah.
Saying women aren't hip hop fans, but let's face it, most hip hop nights aren't swathes of women, are they? Yeah. So that's what irritates me. These people become icons for their looks or their dance. These women become icons for their looks and their dances when they're sick rappers too, but they get, I feel like she gets stolen out of hip hop by the mainstream, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
I think she's like Freddie Gibbs.
Okay.
And you'd never think of Freddie Gibbs as a mainstream Cardi B rapper. But there's a lot of similarities to be drawn that people probably wouldn't think to draw. I think they would sound dope together. But I feel like, basically, that as well, when women get big, it's like they get kind of stolen away by the mainstream, sound-wise, marketing-wise.
But I feel like that's also, you can also say that to a lot of male artists as well. But again, it's kind of magnified when you're dealing with a smaller sample size. So when you're seeing, when there's not that many women really coming through like that, it's always gonna look a certain way. So there are women coming through that are kind of doing their thing. This is the flip side that I would, because women like Meg Thee Stallion, I feel like, you're right, they do have a lot of female fans, and I feel like now women are becoming a little bit more they're kind of understanding their value more as supporters, and they're actually seeing when we support something, we can really push it through, because men have understood from the get-go it's all about the women. Like, you make music for the women and the women bring the guys. That's literally the way I've always seen it, and I've always understood it to be that way. And I think men have understood that, so they've understand the appeal and how to appeal to women. I think the difference is it's never really been an issue to do it. So the guys who have wanted to appeal to the women have been able to do that quite easily. Whereas with the women, trying to appeal to a male audience has always been kind of like an uphill battle.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think as well, I'm overlooking maybe as well the importance of the fact that it is important as well for women to have superstars they love, like Megan Thee Stallion. So like, that's the other thing I question for myself, is how important is it that I get to keep her in my little hip hop box? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, she's giving empowerment to bare women like that. I can't really say that's not a good thing. Yeah. What were you gonna say?
You mentioned, going back, you mentioned the other day, I think it's on Twitter or Instagram, one of the two, and you were talking about Beastie Boys, about how you interacted their music now differently how you did, and how I guess a lot of, I don't know if you were saying it was their music is a lot of sexism in their music, or
Beastie Boys.
I swear it's Beastie Boys.
But I want to know what the tweet was now.
I thought I saw you say something about
was it a joke?
I don't even know. I was just scrolling, man. I just saw it, and then because I heard you mention Beastie Boys earlier, that's what you got into. But do you feel like in, like, even now, let's forget the oldest. Even in nowadays, when we're supposed to be like in this woke society, do you still feel like it's a massive it's a massive issue dealing with misogyny in the music industry, in the lyrics. Do you feel like it's still a big problem?
Yeah, probably. I would say that. I think that it's taboo to be homophobic, but it's not taboo to be misogynistic. Maybe it's because rap is so mainstream. You hear less of the over-the-top misogyny that you might hear from, like, I don't know, Eazy or Eminem or whoever. But that's almost the misogyny I prefer.
Right.
So, like, boring misogyny offends me. So, like, if your misogyny is boring and played out, it's just double offensive, because it's like, you oppressed me for that.
Yeah.
So if you're boring with it, irritates me. If I can beat you up, it irritates me. So some of these little bumpkin fucking wannabe Eminem little rappers from the countryside trying to be like, bitch, this and that. I'm like, I know that you wouldn't say that to my face.
Yeah.
In a million years, because I could knock you out. So, like, it is a problem, but at the same time, what I like about hip hop is that people are being real.
Right. Okay.
Like, I'm someone that I'm an upfront person. I'm a confrontational person, and I like honesty as well. I don't mean argumentative. I mean honesty. Like, let's just put it on the table. Stop being passive aggressive. Stop pretending this. So I appreciate hip hop because it makes people they exaggerate their ugliness. They exaggerate it. I exaggerate my ugliness too. It's just not misogyny. But people exaggerate it, and it's like, if that's the way you feel, I'd rather hear it. Like.
But does that fit though?
Almost self-criticism at the same time. A lot of it is what fits.
I guess so. Yeah, but like, so it's almost like a lot of people feel, me included, I feel like nowadays people are very like thin-skinned, and people can't take a lot of. I don't know. Sometimes I'm back and forth with it, because sometimes I feel like, people take things too far. Everyone's offended by everything. I get that at one point, at one kind of side of it, but at the same side, if you're saying you want honesty, I feel like it's hard to balance those two things out. Going back a little further to you said about the country bumpkins, this is something that I've spoken a lot to everyone who's been on this show, and it's something that I've spoken to a lot out of, like, we've had conference calls, with like, who was in this conference call? It was like me, Parky, Joker Star, Iron Braids, Phoenix the Ice Fire, like bare man just talking like, yo, these man are fucking taking over this shit, like, and they ain't really representing and respecting it. And you mentioning that is kind of like, it's the same thing. So obviously you've seen it as well, or you're aware of the scene changing. Yeah. How have you seen the scene change from the time when you were front stage moshing to what it is now?
Well, it's online.
Right, okay.
I don't know what those shows are like. I have no idea. Also, I feel like UK hip hop now is aimed at kids. I don't think it's aimed at kids. I think it's aimed at uni students. That's what it feels like.
Okay.
Maybe I don't listen to it enough. But I think that it does not have the range or the depth it had. Like, the range and the depth we used to get, and the diversity in the artists that we had, probably doesn't exist now. Like, you'd get like road stuff, you'd get interplanetary madness, you'd get drugs, you'd get conscious stuff, messages back in the day. But now I feel like it is a bit of almost like a kind of not a copy, but like the depth they've gone, and there's just that element, like, I don't know. It's
a watered down. Okay, see, this is the thing as well. Yeah, see, I get this 100%. Yeah, so the Jest and Chester P copies, I get that, and I also know who we're talking about when we say that. So what happens is we go straight to the high focus. We're like, nah, what they're doing is just what everyone else has done before, and a lot of rappers have that same kind of idea, and I feel like,
I don't think that's all of them.
But this is the thing. I don't really think it's any of them, because like it's one of those things, where when you look from the outside, you kind of go, because I was the same way. When I first started hearing stuff, I was like, nah, man, I've kind of heard that before. And then when I started like listening, I was like, oh no, it's not that. But it's part of the problem is it's almost like they have their thing, but it's also like the outside kind of breed that. And there's a lot of MCs that come off what they do, and they created this whole separate scene. And I feel like High Focus get like a massive. I don't think in like from the fans, but I think from the artist, there's this whole thing is a little bit of a. Yeah, nah, man, it's not as real as what we used to do, and they get that Chester P, because some of them have a similar sound, but like when you actually really listen, you're like, oh wait, no, it's not that. It's that whole thing of Action Bronson sounds like Ghostface, and you're like, for the first time you hear him, you're like, oh yeah, okay, and then you listen to you're like, wait, nah, it's not even that. It's the flow's different, the content's different, everything's different. So, but I do get what a lot of other not what you said, but a lot of other rappers say that.
I guess we'd have to compare exactly who we've listened to or whatever. Because there's bare people we're talking about. Loads of rappers. But I guess what I don't get is a sense of the depth of people's personalities and lives much. Okay. But I guess sometimes you have to listen to them more. But
so
that's what I feel like I'm missing from a lot of it. It doesn't feel like I'm hearing them. It feels like it's just like mad talk.
See, yeah, okay, yeah. That again, yeah.
But who are you though? Who are you?
Yeah. I feel that a lot. I know
you take drugs and you're crazy, but who are you though?
Yeah, definitely. I feel I get that a lot, but I just feel like it gets thrown at the wrong people. Speaking of someone who takes drugs and is crazy, and you're a big fan of, Cassie's dead. You're like you're a super fan, and he is probably.
You have all the bro.
You are though. You are. That's the real. But
I own it.
But you know, and I've it's kind of it's cool to hear as well, because I feel like your sound and especially a lot of stuff you've been doing recently, it kind of complements the kind of stuff that he does in a way. Like it definitely, there's definitely kind of like I see that influence a little bit in the vibe of it. Going forward with your music, what direction are you taking it?
I don't ever plan. So anything I put out, I've just made it, and that's why I'm putting it out.
Sick. You're like
well, yeah. I never strategize. I never decide on a concept. I never decide on a flow. I create stuff and then I'm like, all right, let's share it ASAP. Like the people I know, the talented, wonderful people I know. Yes, I've got the CP. Oh, let me just revise the bass on. Oh, I might release that next year. Like, release the fucking thing. Yeah. Like I make things and they go out. I'm not a planner. I'm not a strategizer. So I literally just do what I feel like. Are we gonna
hear more though? Because I feel like you're again, man, that consistency. The first, do you know what? When we were in Bristol the other day.
Yes.
So
the other day, yeah.
Yeah, well, whenever it was, it's all blurs to me. But I think it was like one of the. It might be. It definitely isn't the first time I've seen you perform live, but it's one of the first times I just thought, you know what? Let me just sit back and just watch the live performance. Like really, just see what you're bringing. And I'm a person as well who I always try to learn from performers. And your live performance was incredible. And I remember I'm just sitting there like, yeah, man. Like it was cool.
Yeah, it was sick.
But do you know why? Because I felt like you were in a place where you seemed like real comfortable, and you were just like, yeah, this is my space, this is my time, I'm doing my thing, boom.
Yeah.
And it proper just came across like, yeah, I do this every day, all the time. It's nothing. Like, and the performance was amazing. I just feel like I want to see more of it, and I want to see.
Oh, thank you, man.
I want to hear more music from you. You're someone who every video you drop is a banger. It's like you really look. You say you don't plan things, you just do it.
You're right. I don't fling things out. That's not what I meant. You're right. I do plan. I plan my fucking videos.
Yeah.
That's what I plan.
Because they're sick.
Right. Because that's like the fun, not the fun bit, but like it's not rapping, but it's something else. Yeah. And if you're like really into films and like just like I fantasize. I'm a daydreaming fantasist type of person, escapism type of person. I always have been.
Yeah.
So when I used to listen to music, I'd picture me in the music video, like this. I'm living out this song. So like this is a chance to create something that you want to imagine and be able to create it in video form, put out to the world. It's like really exciting.
Yeah.
So the kind of purpose of it is always to kind of live out some fantasy in my head, it feels like, rather than like, right, I'm gonna do a video that's like this. Like, it's not really that I'm trying to think of cool concepts, even though I am. It's something that wanted to be expressed in my head.
Yeah.
It's not just like I want it to look sick. It's like I need it to do this because I fantasized about that.
Because like I get you 100%. I'm a person. I make videos for other artists and whatever, and my videos themselves are always like super boring because I'm the opposite. I'm just like, I made the music.
Yeah.
Let me just do the video. Let me just get it done, man. I don't want to hear it anymore. Yeah. I don't want to see it anymore. But and as someone who makes videos, yeah, when I watch your videos, I understand all the work that goes into it. I see it. I'm just like, oh my days. I'm like, nah. How many days they spend doing that? Like, how many takes do they have to do to do that?
Mate, it's so much stress. It's days watching items on eBay.
Yeah.
It's 400 voice notes between me and Jordan.
Big up Jordan.
It's me watching films and taking notes. It's long. It's so long. And then it's also like pissing money away with no return.
Yeah, 100%.
But the return is, I've got this product is immortal. This product will survive forever. Like, I can never regret spending money on it. But to go back to you saying the Cass thing, is that one of the reasons I'm a super fan is because as soon as I discovered him, or as soon as I heard him, I was like, right, who the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And then once you delve into someone, and then I realized there's a lot of similarities in interests and things that are important. So the visual thing. Yep. I found a commercial type thing, advert he did in the same year that I released a video in which we have like really similar props. It was really weird because I was like, oh, when was this then? And it was 2012.
Yeah.
And I'd released Dope MC in 2012 with the old TV and that.
Yeah.
But this is when nostalgia wasn't really like a thing. So I think sometimes you get really into artists that you already see yourself in, or something you want to be in. Like I like the way this person's expressing. Like, I relate to it.
Yeah. Because I feel like, again, like going back to the videos, one thing that always hits, again, because I watch a lot of videos, 90% of the time, I'm not going to watch the whole thing. I'm going to watch like the first, I don't know, minute and be like, yeah, that was cold still. And unless it was a song I'd never heard before, or I think the last video, that video Gets put out the other day, and I was like, I watched the video, in 10 seconds into the video, I was like,
you've confirmed my worst fears.
Nah, listen.
I
watched it, I was like, 10 seconds into the video, I was like, okay, I see what you're doing. I don't like the video, but the bars are sick, so I'm gonna watch it to the end. Boom. With your videos, I'm always just like, I need to watch the end. There's a story. I need to know what's gonna happen. I need to know like what's gonna happen next. And I feel like, again, man, it's like, obviously I know Jordan don't play, like he's a perfectionist, and you're a perfectionist, and I feel like the work together, you two together just work so well, man. It's a fun thing to see, and it's like, it's super hard, to be an artist, and a creative, someone who makes videos. It's super hard for me to watch other people's work and enjoy it. It's always I'm just sitting there picking apart, but watching your stuff, I'm just like, nah, this is sick. Like,
oh, thanks.
This is cool. And so on top of that, I just feel like you have the potential to do so much in this scene. The way the game's set out now, especially with where again you can reach the people you need to reach. Do you feel like is this something, when you look at yourself as an artist, do you ever look at it like there's a direction I'm trying to go or a place I'm trying to get to, or is it still just, nah, I'm just having fun with it? Or
I guess it's quite a egotistical answer that sometimes I feel like I'm a gap in the market.
Okay.
Yep. I see myself and I think I don't feel like there's anything like me.
Nope.
Like, and the fact I'm a woman plays into it a lot. So like, I'm a very like I feel like I have lots of different personalities and things I do, and I also put the honesty in my music. So I feel like there's not that many artists where you get to see so many sides of womanhood and contradictions, and like I think that's what I'm missing when I think of female artists is that where's a sexy conscious rapper? Why is it either like, you know, why is it either, oh yeah, she's one of those where she just wears a swimsuit for every video, or she's conscious, you know, like Rhapsody versus Meg Thee Stallion, like where's the different sides of one woman? And I feel like we rarely get to see it, and I don't even think it's a woman thing, it's the main thing really, but just like I don't know how to explain it.
No, I think you've explained it quite well. But,
maybe.
No, I think you have. Like, I think. Do you? Okay, so the question of that is, do you feel like you're in a position where you can promote yourself as such and do what you want at a scale that you think is going to be beneficial for you to do? So do you feel like if you continue to do what you're doing, that you'll be able to fill that gap in the market?
Yes, I do. I feel like I see a lot of, you know, that, oh, are you marketable as somebody who doesn't subscribe to a look or a fucking genre or like whatever? But I don't believe in thinking like that. Every time doubt creeps into my head from any doubt, any doubt, like, oh, looks, or that, you know, but you're not this enough, you're not that enough. It's like, no, what I create is sick, innit? So that brings fans. I'm not trying to be a superstar. I do want a fan base, but I think if you're just yourself and you're honest and what you make is good, then it will happen. But the other thing that's come out of lockdown for me is that limitations. So I'm a chaotic person and options kind of drive me a bit mad.
Same.
So I can't do fuck all. I can't create my next music video, my crazy whatever. I have to work. I have to do it here.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, fine. I've had the idea of the single mum near you thing. I was like, I'd be funny, innit? Imagine I'm just a pop-up, you know, internet pop-up.
Oh, yeah, that was cold. Yeah.
I'm a single mum, innit? And I like to play with stigma and stereotypes and like challenge them and play with them, innit?
Yeah.
So it's almost like, instead of this being like a woman that's like, you know, please your every desire, it's just like some rap, some like Aggie mum. Anyway, so I thought that was quite a sick idea, innit? Like, it's quite funny. It's really easy to do. And someone made me look like I'm in a pop-up flipping window. And Nick Light, who actually filmed a video for me many years ago, did it for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that was quite quick. I like recorded it on my phone.
Yeah.
I mean, loads of fucking takes, long. But I mean, it's quite easy. It didn't take months of planning.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to fucking do another one. So I did another one. And I was like, this is working. I'm getting more followers. I'm getting more engagement. I was like, is this all I needed to do?
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, maybe 2 singles a year isn't enough.
I saw that as well.
And I have to rap a bit more, Jazz.
But that's, to me, it's like, it makes perfect sense. And also as well, so it's funny you said it, because when you were talking about, you remember, like, before you dropped that video, you were like, oh, can someone help me with it? And I was like, damn, what's she planning? She's planning something. And then when I saw it, I was like, oh, okay. And like, then I saw your tweet the other day, that was today actually, or yesterday, and you were saying, I got to do more than like 2 tracks a year. And
today.
It was today, yeah? It's all a blur, it's literally a blur. But it's to me, I'm just like, yes, you do, because going back to what you said before, when I was watching you on stage, that's the thing that came into my head, marketability. I was just like, it's right there, like, it's literally like everything you're doing is, to me, it writes itself, it markets itself, it's so perfect because it's so unique. And then at the same time, I'm also, because I'm exactly the same. People come to me and go, oh, what do you think of this track? And I'll be like, I don't like it, I think it's shit, I think your image is shit, but it doesn't matter what I think, because you can still, like, anyone can make it. If it's you, it can go in it. And it's, so to me, I was like, you kind of got it on both sides, because I feel like what you, obviously the foundation of our creativity is our music. And that's like, that goes without saying, you can bar in it. I think Beat selection, again, is always cold. I think the content is always cold. It's always there, and the only thing that's really missing is people want more of it, and it just seems like now you're giving it to them.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna carry on really, because I get, the more you write, the more you want to write, innit? And at the end of the day, I'm a rapper, so where's the rap?
Yeah.
Like if I was going out like I was back in the day, I'd be having to write bars for the next open mic. So why not writing bars? You know, like you can complain about not getting exposure or how hard it is, but if you're not flipping rapping, then what do you expect?
Yeah.
But I do feel very patient. Like you say, I do feel like it kind of does what it does, it sells itself. Like I'm not trying to get on Spotify's biggest playlist of whatever. I'm not trying to hit fans that want to hear the next big thing.
Yep.
That isn't who I'm trying to hit. I'm trying to hit fans that flipping want to stay with you, or, you know, appreciate it.
But that's why I'm saying, like, that's why I say it about Cassie, because I always feel like Cassie's not he's the rapper that all the rappers know, innit? And he's like
every rapper's favorite rapper.
100%. Like, he's just gonna, you know, he's gonna kill it. And he's gonna say stuff, and you're just gonna be like, nah, did he just say that? Like, and the way he does things, but also as well, his fans are just diehard fans. Because
you know how sick Cass's fans are? That some of them are now my fans. That's how hardcore fans they are.
Yeah.
Is that they'll become fans of other Cass fans just for being a Cass fan.
And that's real, because that's real support right there. And again, it's like really understanding, like just understanding, like, someone who really loves the music. It's authentic, knowing someone's authentic and they represent what you represent. I think it's a win-win situation, man.
Yeah. And the same with other artists, like R.A. the Rugged Man, for example, who's just released the album, and I'm just like, oh, he's so dope, man. And I think another person, it's just their fan base is just so loyal because they're so strong on what they believe is the right music to make and being themselves. And people want that leadership away from the mainstream when they don't really like the mainstream as well.
Yeah.
I'm sure some of them do, but.
Yeah, I think it's, I definitely get what you're saying. I just got a random follow from R.A. the Rugged Man on Twitter, and I was just like, wait, what? Like,
did you?
Yeah, I was just like, raw. I was like, big up, bro, thank you, man. Like, I was like, that's absolutely crazy.
Get to interview, bro.
I should try it. I should definitely try it.
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
he's trying to promote. I just listened to his interview, Ramesh. He just was on HipHopUKtv My Life.
Yeah.
He's like, listen, man, I need all the help I can to promote my album.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I might hit him up, man. He might be the first international guest. Well, I want to thank you for your time. Thank
you.
It's been interesting. It's really good just trying to get an insight into the way you think. And also it's been super cool, like seeing you from a distance and then getting to know you, and then just seeing that.
Why don't we know each other? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but then that's the thing. It's like that. I guess that's almost the part that's kind of missing. I guess we have it online now, but before, community was built around, like we say, it was built around Kung Fu. It was built around these pillars in the music community. There's so many people that I know that I just know because of that. Like they were at a show, and then we bumped into each other and was like, "Yo, you good? Yeah, I saw you last week. Yeah."
Oh, also, just to go back, I'd just like to shout out Maestro for giving me the mic many times.
Yeah.
My first mic, my first mic performances.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Big up My Stiggy. Sorry, My Stiggy. Sorry, I'm sorry. It's because I was talking about Kung Fu. Allow me.
Yeah. I think I've called him Maestro before and he got vexed. It's My Stiggy, bro. But I think me and Mice got beef or something. I don't even know. But I might try and get him on the show as well. Have a little chat.
I'll out.
Have a little chat with the man. But thank you so much. Wait a minute, hold on. We got to go about why you called me a Tory. Right. So what happened? Yeah. Where's my receipts? So someone was saying about single parent families. Where's the tweet, man? I've got to find it. Hold on.
I'm laughing because you didn't even say anything. You liked the tweet.
Nah, but I did. I jumped in. I doubled down.
I added you and somebody else just for liking the tweet.
Yeah, but it was like, I liked what you did though, because it was like, you know what? You've explained it as well. Yeah, your combative behavior.
Yeah, I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, what a cunt. I'm going to be like, wait, explain yourself. I want an explanation. What the fuck are you liking this for? About, what was it?
I don't even know what you said. I can't find it now. Oh, wait, I got it. All right, hold up. Here we go. I wonder if I can put it on the screen without messing up more. Let's try. Here we go. Yeah, cool. So they can see it. So basically, I was just chilling here, minding my own business at 8:31 p.m. March. Right? And then Jazz here has added me here. Like straight out, like I mean, I'll catch you strays out here. Why is it always bimbo men you have so much to say? Also disappointed.
Wait, I didn't at you and say that.
You did say that. And you said also, I'm disappointed that Genesis Elijah and Queenie said so have liked this.
Sorry.
Glad you're enjoying your two-parent household. But
the bimbo
that was that dude
about the OG poster.
Yeah, what did he say? He said single parent households. Yeah, let's read that. Let's get context. Single parent households work. Households with two parents work better for all involved. So yeah, I guess there's some caveats to that because you could have two bad parents. But my thing was like, yeah, if you got two good parents, and then I doubled down. I was like, the thing is with me is because I'm just not. I couldn't do it, man. Like especially now as well, and it's like I got so much respect for single parents because like now the amount of like trying to entertain kids when you're locked in a house with them is nuts. And it's funny because obviously we were talking, Aruba was mentioning that as well. She was like, I'm going to try and watch the show, but you know what I mean? Like, got kids to look after. And my thing was like, yeah, I would, if anything, I'd rather have 4 parents. Like, give me another, you know what I mean? Get another dad, another mum.
Amount of parents a child has, it is an extremely arbitrary statistic in the vast array of things that will happen to them, that they experience. So just based on that alone, I feel like it's even just a silly statement to make because it's so simplistic that all it really does is vilify single parent households because, oh, you're good, but you could have been better. And that is very Tory. It's stigmatizing for people that already face stigma. It's further stigmatizing. So stigmatizing single parents as, well, you could have done better. Yeah.
But I feel like I get seeing it that way, but I just feel like stuff happens, innit? Life happens, things happen, and I feel, and my thing was, I feel like everybody starts off in their mind like they want to have a 2-parent family. So my thing was, if that's what you start off with wanting, there must be a reason for that. Like no one starts off going, well, actually no, that's a lie. Some people do say, I want a sperm donor, I just want to do my thing. But I feel like a lot of people
because people want what other people have, not because it's it's not an innate superior structure. In fact, it's a white supremacist idea that the matrifocal 2-parent family is a superior structure. It's actually, if you look into the history of it, it's part of Western white supremacist dominant ideology. So
but isn't like it just I will I'll do the knowledge, but isn't it like just a kind of a natural thing, like it takes to kind of, for most people to make kids, you kind of need the two parents anyway. Like obviously I know it takes a village.
A lot of societies there might be women that mainly congregate together and the men are separated. So like I know what you're saying about the biological making the child, but not necessarily in the way
parenting
set up.
Of
blocks of these. Cool. There's lots of different types of child rearing.
That's true. But yeah, I'm always online to get smoke and catch that corn. It's cool. Like
same.
I don't.
Twitter is my mental mosh pit.
You know what though? I used to be like 2011, 2012 gen on Twitter was wild, and like I've had to go through and like clean it up. You know what I mean? And but now,
you know what? I need to do that at some point. I'm sure there's not much there, but
you know what?
Worth a look.
Yeah, I was on crud, but people don't get in it. Like 2010, 2011 Twitter was something. It was a different thing. It was like the place where people thought I can say anything I want. Yeah,
this is the thing. You can't go back and like hold people to today's standards. It doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't. You can expect them to comment on it and say, I agree, I said something, whatever, but you can't hold them to these standards. It doesn't make sense. It was okay. Just like in my area growing up, grooming teenagers when you're a grown man was literally normal. Like, I'm not saying it was okay, but the fact we won't admit it is the issue. Anyway, I just brought up something really controversial. Didn't want to talk about it, but yeah.
It is controversial, but it's something that it's been a subject. It's been on, people have been talking about it the last couple of weeks online. Yeah. We've been talking about Westwood, and everyone has a story like, and I put up my story. You can go see it if you want to see it. But okay. And then I said, because there's two ways of looking at this. And a lot of it wasn't really to do with it wasn't nothing to do with underage, but again, underage is arbitrary. It depends where you put the line. And so a lot of people saying if a woman is 18, 19, 20, she shouldn't be with a guy who's in his late 30s, 40s, whatever. So then it's like, well, the law says that's cool. So then what we should be doing is then putting the age of consent up to like 21. And then you kind of have way more of an argument to say,
well, I actually literally meant underage, under 16, when I said it. But
No, See, but to me, that's like, I feel like everybody can say, yo, all right, cool, that's wrong. But I feel like once you go over 16, and maybe not over 16, but once you start talking about 18, 19, and everyone's kind of like, some people are like, yeah, we are go. I had someone block me on Twitter because I said when I was 17, I was going out with a 22-year-old. And so she was like, well, you were groomed. I was like, nah, I wasn't. Like, I honestly wasn't.
That's different from late 30 though, to be fair. Yeah, that is a little bit different.
Yeah, it is, but still, she was like, nah, she was disgusting, she was a paedophile. And it's like, but technically we're both, like, I was over 16, she was over 16. So if you're going to be angry about that, obviously you must want a law change. But then at the same time, I got a lot of pushback saying, nah, it shouldn't be 21. So I still think there's a massive conversation to be had.
There's a big issue with wanting to have definitive rules and statements, and that's not how the world works. And I realised when I was studying for my masters, letting go of needing to have the answer or to be right is so important when you're trying to be progressive. Is to let go of the fact that you might not be able to tell someone, well, this is how it should be exactly, but you can still challenge things without necessarily having the answer. But I guess what I mean is we pick out these random men, but it was a cultural issue. It wasn't random men that are monsters. It was completely standard for older men. I mean, it still is a bit, but it's not quite as acceptable, I don't think. But
I guess
that irritates me a bit sometimes. But I'm like, the fact you won't admit it's cultural and that everybody, like most people flipping did it, is irritating, because how do we progress if we don't admit what was the truth?
But I think that's when it gets muddy, because then you got people like me who would be like, nah, I never did that, and none of my people did that. But then again, it's like, you don't really know what your people are doing when they weren't around you. So again, that whole fight back of it again, like you say, it's not helpful. You're not helping anyone by saying, nah, it didn't happen. You can say, if you want to say, nah, do you know what, I didn't do that, I'm not on that. Okay, cool, fair enough. But you have to admit there was stuff going on around you. Like, like I know when I was 15, 16, there were guys we hung around with that were like 19, 20, that were still moving with the same girls that we moved with. So
that's what I'm saying. So I'm not saying massive pedo rings. I'm saying 15-year-olds and 20-year-old men. Which this is the thing. These men aren't like deviant monsters. If it's a cultural, societal problem, then it's a type of normality they're taking part in. And if there's an issue with that, then we need to face it culturally, not by singling out individuals and being like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. I didn't do that. I can't believe you did it. You know, like you're one in a million. They're not.
Going back to like, I know, like I said, I was gonna let you go. We kind of gone over time. Whatever. But going back to what you said earlier, I'm kind of losing my train of thought. Oh yeah, going back to critical thinking and teaching young people to be able to have a nuanced idea about things rather than binary. Are we even at our society, is it even in a place where we can have these conversations? Because I feel like it happens in pockets, but there's so many, like, obviously Twitter's not the place to have these conversations. And again, a lot of
they are.
Sometimes you get a little, you know what I mean? You find a little pocket in a.
I had a good one yesterday.
You get them like every now and then, but I just feel like on a whole, we're just Twitter again. It's a bubble. It's an echo chamber. You're dealing with people that, again, a lot of bots, a lot of trolls. But do you think society's ready to start having these conversations, like honest conversations about these things?
A lot of the time, no. And one of my pet peeves is debate shows without informed participants. It drives me flipping insane. Because what I realised, sorry to keep bringing up my masters, like, I did a masters and now I know stuff.
Flex.
But like,
flexes.
But I realised how ignorant I am. It's like amazing that I would debate and have such strong opinions on shit. Not that my opinions were like necessarily in the wrong direction, but just the extent to which we think we just know things.
Yeah.
When you actually study history and the birth of certain norms and ideas we have, it's like mind-blowing. And you would have to really do that to be informed to discuss any of it. If you're going to discuss misogyny, you need to look at the history of misogyny in whatever society you're looking at it from. You can't just like, oh, well, you know, I've lived, so this.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the problem with talking about it when you're not educated. Like, you don't have to do a master's, but you do need to have a certain level of knowledge of history to how we got here to know. Like, have you seen the 13th documentary?
Yeah.
It's like, it's fucking mind-blowing. It's like literally like nothing really changed.
Yeah.
And maybe that was obvious. Maybe loads of people knew that. But looking at it, laid out for you historically from slavery in the transatlantic slavery system and the prisons of Python and all of that, looking at it laid out historically is mind-blowing to watch. It's like...
But then I feel like a lot of times in especially in that situation as well, because again, it's where you have evidence laid out in front of you, really clearly, concisely put together and packaged in a way like a documentary that's easy to digest, and still the pushback just doesn't seem to be where we want it to be. And I feel like, you know, like you said when you were little, it's about justice, injustice, and I feel like that part of me is dying, because there's a part when you're like, oh, do you know what? Someone does something wrong, then they get their comeuppance. And especially like, obviously I'm a roadie in it. So there's the idea of someone does something wrong, they get dealt with, was always just like, it was just black and white. That's just the way it was. So when you're kind of told that we're on that side of things, it's savagery, it's savagery, you're on the road, boom boom. But then when you get into like politics and the world, you're like, well, this must be where civilizations happen, this must be the civilized way to do things. And you're just like, nah, you don't even deal with things how we deal with things. It's like, you can see something's wrong and it's not even dealt with in the way it should be dealt with. And I feel like the generation coming up, especially the young kids that I work with, it's so ingrained with them to a point where they just feel like there is no justice, there's never going to be any justice, so what's the point? Yeah, that makes total flipping sense. I mean, why would you believe it? It hurts to try and believe in it too. It's less painful to not engage with that as a hope or a dream or something you have to battle, you know? How do you this is the last one I'll ask you, because I know you were quite vocal, you're very vocal in your political views, and obviously I still class you as a young person, so where do you think, like, we're being more politicized as young people, but we're also we're in this place here where we actually, a lot of us feel kind of like we ain't got no team to back. Like, who do we got no team to back, which means we don't really have a voice right now. What's I guess, what's your opinion on that, and what's your advice to people who want to be politicized? Where do they go to? What parties can they back? Where can they get the information to know who's doing what? And is it really back to how we were, like, focus on local government?
I feel lost as well. Like that's one of my massive areas of ignorance is politics,
right?
Which is awful. And I did do a politics module in my first degree, but I was just like, it's so fucking boring. Help me. Like I don't engage with things like that very well. I'm about people, and I don't know how to explain it, but like systems and boring.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess I would with the Labour campaign for a bit, but I mean, I'm disillusioned with that too. But I suppose there's power in other places, not just power in politics. And knowledge is power is probably the cheesiest thing I've ever said, but it's very true.
Real.
And you can turn minds and influence people through the music we're doing, through education. And I do feel like people, I mean, there's a massive clash at the moment of like distorted prejudice and increased progressiveness of thought. Yeah. And I think that's a positive thing. I know it looks awful, but like, look, we're seeing it all. Yeah. We didn't used to have to look at people being shot in the head by police and shit, but we can see it now. It's like, I don't think it's got worse anyway. I don't really know. I shouldn't really say that without statistics in front of me. But what I mean is having to see everything laid out like that, it's fucking not natural, is it? We're not really supposed to be able to see the whole world happening at once. Our brains weren't made to do that. But I feel like there is progressiveness in clashes because that's what happens. That's what happens when revolution happens. Is there's a big fucking fight.
You heard it here first, people. Jaz says revolution time. We're about to fight, about to riot, about to burn this motherfucker down. So man, it's super interesting. I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for your insights. It's been amazing. I want to tell our audience, we've had some pretty good live numbers today, so big up everyone on the live. Please go check out Jaz's music. No, I'm going to do actually. I haven't done this for any other artist, but I'm going to put the links for the music in the description on the video. Because I am a fan, and I believe I believe in your potential for real. Like I'm just like, this is gonna go. So once again, thank you for your time. Thank you for always being a voice. And thank you for always challenging as well, like challenging norms, challenging situations that you don't think are fair, because like you said, it is about the clash, and that's your voice is important. It's something that we definitely need. So big up you, big up yourself.
Thank you. Big up you, man.
Cool. All right, wicked.
See you on Twitter.
Yeah, for real. Stay right there. Let me just say goodbye to the people. Guys, thank you for being a part of this. It's been an amazing chat. Like I'm telling you, I could go on for a very long time, but I got to chill. I can't take up people's time. So big up you lot. We're still giving away albums. There's no competition. Just write your favorite number in the comments and I'll choose a number and you'll get an album. That's how we're doing it. Lazy like that. I don't care. I've got albums to give away. But stay safe, stay blessed. Love to you, love to your family. I'll see you tomorrow for another episode of Quality Over Quarantine. Peace.